Testing, testing. All right, I'm back with another fun Destiny 2 audio recording. Thought I got the video to work. It worked for a little bit longer and then was still dying even after I uninstalled OBS, but we'll see. Hopefully just another week or so of this till I get my new computer and this stops happening. But in any case, I wanted to talk about something that happened with the story yesterday. Regarding a development that has been kind of hinted at in the past, like kind of since the season started, given that you could read this lore right away. But it was referenced again. It's something some people might miss because this was actually a line of dialogue in Astral Alignment, and those are kind of randomized. They have added new ones every week, but sometimes you repeat them or get different ones, so everyone may not have heard this. It is Mara issuing an order to Petra where she wants her to, once this is kind of all resolved and like things are sort of back to normal, she wants her to go permanently evict Spider and his associates from the Tangled Shore. And I would say the implication is heavily that she wants him assassinated. She wants to kill Spider for many reasons. So Spider has ruled over the Tangled Shore. He kind of worked out a deal with the Awoken. I think he may have had a deal with Mara originally to sort of manage this land before she died/disappeared. I think, if not, it was something like that the Awoken didn't really care about. He was sort of guarding the gate to the Dreaming City in exchange for being able to run his black market of enhancement cores and planetary materials and stuff, and dead ghost shells, which he really likes collecting for some reason. But things changed at the beginning of this season, where once Mara was dead and he found Crow sort of wandering around in the wilderness, he took Crow and he knew he was Uldren and he subjugated him and essentially made him his slave. He hooked up a bomb to Glint, which is a direct threat to his life, and treated him like his pet, essentially. And really, he seemed to get a kick out of the fact that he was able to boss this Awoken prince around who didn't know who he was. But now Mara is back, and she is not pleased with this. Some other dialogue from some of the other missions before has, I think it was Glint talking to Petra maybe, about how terribly Spider treated Uldren. And obviously I think this got back to Mara, and now Mara is wanting to make a move against Spider to punish him for his sins. The way this was hinted at before was the Season Pass Ghosts, the one I think at level 50. The lore for that is all about Spider being like kind of scared for his life and asking the Drifter to smuggle him out of the Tangled Shore, which is kind of hilarious. There's no implication that this has happened. Obviously Spider is still there, but as we know, the Tangled Shore is kind of locked in time, because even Crow is still there, kind of still as in his enforcer role, and then he is simultaneously also in the helm. This happened because Bungie did not realize that they were going to leave all the seasonal stuff up when Season of the Hunt hit. That was a decision they made later, so they just sort of left that alone and left Crow there as a vendor for the seasonal stuff, just so they didn't have to like do anything extra. So this kind of creates a core question of, so it's first of all, is Spider going to be killed? And second, does the death of Spider or escape of Spider imply that the Tangled Shore is being vaulted along with potentially the Dreaming City? And this is the debate we've had before, but I kind of want to revisit it. For me personally, it makes a lot of sense that Mara would want to kill Spider, and I think it would be kind of awesome if she did. The fact that this is sort of relegated to some really specific lines of dialogue implies to me that this may not be the most major story development, even though Mara killing Spider, Spider was the main focus of Forsaken for at least like half of it, and then had a role in Season of the Hunt. So him dying or Petra killing him would be a big moment. Like, you would want a cutscene for that or something, or a story mission where he tries to run away and like escape somewhere, and like it's like a revamped version of one of the Tangled Shore strikes, and like Spider's at the end as a boss, and you have to fight a bunch of fallen. I don't know. Like, there are ways that this could be extremely cool. Like, the death of Spider would be a great strike, honestly. Where we hunt him down, and I don't know, he's in some giant mecha thing that he creates to kill us, and like sends waves of his spiky fallen after us. That would be extremely cool. But like, I mean, I've been around long enough to not have that high of expectations for this. Given Spider's history, I think it is more likely that he escapes Mara's wrath and is able to hide somewhere. The immediate thought I had was Destiny moving Spider to the Tower Annex, somewhere over there where there's a lot of Fallen. That's where the Drifter hides out. There's not a whole lot going on over there these days besides Drifter and Ada 1. So it makes the most sense to me that they would just sort of transplant him into the annex somewhere, like maybe, there's a bunch of little nooks and crannies there. The thing where the place where the Callus robot used to be is empty now. There are a few different options where you could say like, oh, Spider's hiding out and he snuck his way into the tower and Drifter helped him out. And the Vanguard doesn't know he's there, but whatever. And functionally, this would actually be good because it would be placing a very important vendor at the tower. Like, Spider is one of the most important vendors in the game in terms of us buying things like Glimmer and planetary materials and enhancement cores from him. Like, he is, those are things, we have to visit Spider a lot. And it is very weird to just go to the Tangled Shore and have to do that as a specific trip. So putting him in the tower, I think, would make a lot more sense. Obviously, they could take away his stupid Forsaken bounties, I guess, but obviously, that changes the structure of the Forsaken quest because you're always having to go visit him during that quest. So that raises some questions about how Forsaken would work. And then this leads into the theory of, okay, well, maybe they're killing off Forsaken content. Maybe they're vaulting Tangled Shore in the Dreaming City. For many reasons, I maintain this is not happening. I do not think that for the first time in years we got Scorn champions and Scorn-based Nightfalls, only to have those deleted, 5 months from now. That seems like a colossal amount of work that would just completely go to waste if they sunset the content. And I said this yesterday that it would not make sense to get rid of the Tangled Shore or Forsaken content in general if they are continuing to sell it all season long. This is where the whole, this must be free for X amount of time thing comes in. All of the content that was vaulted before was free-to-play content, so people had at least some amount of time to play that. With Forsaken, you can't just sell something one day and then, have it in a content vault the next day. Like, it would have to be free for a period of time. I guess it could go free, for the Bungie anniversary event or something, and yet I don't see this happening. I don't see them deleting all this stuff. It would be too much stuff to delete. I did the math a while ago, but it's something like 4 strikes, a full dungeon, a full raid, if we're doing all the Dreaming City stuff. It's just too much stuff. And it does make more sense from a story reason. Obviously, we have comparisons to when the other planets were vaulted. There was this big evacuation storyline where we were trying to get everyone to leave the planets. The only person who actually did leave was Anna Bray, and everyone else stayed behind to die, maybe not die, maybe be transformed into a Vex Harpy. We don't really know. So, and those planets are now shrouded in darkness. So Spider leaving is a pretty good story indicator that Tangled Shore could be vaulted, and yet I still don't see it happening. The candidates for removal, and I do think something is being removed, are EDZ and Nessus. Both of those are intimately tied to the Red War campaign, which is now deleted. You cannot play any of those missions anymore, and they are just really not used at all in current content. Someone pointed out to me that Nessus does not even have legendary lost sectors, where at least the EDZ does have legendary lost sectors. And now that we know, this kind of changes the calculus a little bit. We know that the Witch Queen area is not Old Chicago. It is not another Earth zone. It is Savathun's throne world. That might, swing things a little in favor of the EDZ staying instead of going. Because I thought just kind of 2 forest-based Earth zones being there would be a little much. It is also possible they both go. That would be a ton of content wiped out. Many strikes. I don't even know how many between them, 4 or 5 at least. The EDZ has fewer strikes than Nessus, I believe, so that going away would not hurt quite as much. We would lose Lake of Shadows, which is the best speedrunning strike in the game, which is unfortunate. But that is still, I think, the most likely candidate. No, I cannot think of a super specific story reason for the EDZ or Nessus to go away, like we have with Spider evacuating. And yet, I mean, they can come up with something theoretically, or they can just not write it into the story. I don't even think it's like necessary to fully write, the complete vaulting of a zone into the story every time it happens. Like, obviously the EDZ isn't going to be like shrouded in darkness because it's it's only one part of Earth, and like they're not shrouding the whole Earth in darkness because they're not going to sunset the Cosmodrome. That'll still be there. So I don't know. You could have something about like, I don't know, Devrim killed all the Fallen and the EDZ is safe now, like the end. Like, I feel like that's all you really need. I don't think you need a big Arrivals type evacuation storyline, as cool as that was, every time you take an area away. So just because there isn't a story reason offhand, I don't think that necessarily implies that there will definitely be a story reason for those zones to go away. So I do love the idea of Spider getting assassinated by Mara. I think he has more than had it coming. I would love to that be like a mid-season story development that happens. I don't know if it will. I don't know if anything will come of this, or this could just be sort of Easter egg things where nothing ever actually manifests from it. But we'll see how this plays out. Bungie has said in the past that probably they will vault Forsaken content eventually. They've said that they don't love the idea that people are playing Forsaken and they see evil Uldren, but then like in the current storyline, like Uldren is Crow now and is nice, and like it's too confusing. So I get that, but I just don't think it's going to be for Witch Queen. It doesn't make any sense for a number of reasons. So all in favor of Spider dying, but I don't think that necessarily means that these zones are going away, even though that does raise some questions about how Forsaken content would potentially be handled if Spider is dead, and he is one of the main quest givers for that storyline and pieces of that campaign. So it's a little confusing, but that's kind of where we are now, and I think we're going to need some more information from Bungie before we can fully understand what's going on here. So anyway, thanks for watching / listening, and we'll continue working on this, and I will hopefully have my new computer soon.